Getting our Florida food forest in Zone 9B ready for the winter. It is cold in our Florida food forest this morning. Florida, you might think, there's no such thing as cold. Oh yes, there is. We woke up to low 40s and it is the end of November. Some years are worse than others. And last year was very mild, so I didn't protect any plants. But the year prior to that, we had several days with freezing temperatures at night. And one winter, I don't know if it was 2 or 3 years ago, we actually had 3 nights in December below freezing, and that did a number on our plants. We lost almost all of our papayas, and thankfully we protected a lot of plants, so that was about it. But it was cold and the plants were struggling. If you're in Northeast or Central Florida, or if you're in Zone 9B anywhere, November is the month to start winter prepping your food forests, your gardens. Do it before the cold hits. Protect those plants that are cold sensitive. When you grow food in Zone 9B, you live kind of on the edge of tropical to temperate climates, and some winters will have more chill hours than others, and when we do have a lot of chill hours, we'll get lots of pears, lots of apples, lots of peaches and plums. Even the blueberries will be thriving. Whereas when we have a mild winter, our tropicals will be doing excellent. Our papayas won't die back, our bananas won't die back. It's just a thing. We live with it, we work with it. Most of our plants will do just fine over winter, as we have acquired them because they can handle our growing zone, even with freezing temperatures a few times a year. But when we do freeze, we rarely go more than 1 or 2 degrees below freezing. I think the most we've had is something like 28, maybe 27 degrees Fahrenheit. But there are areas around us that will go lower, so you never know. Now here's the thing. We do not like putting our plants to bed. And yes, that's what we do in Northeast Florida. We go out if freeze is coming and we cover our plants. And many people cover up the plants even well before freeze. We don't do that. Only if we know it's going to go below freezing will we go out and cover a few plants that we know are susceptible to severe frost damage. But in general, most of our plants can handle a day or two below freezing temperatures. These fake ice cream bananas, I think they are probably in the number 1 family. They do very well over the winter, even with freezes. We also have this Rajapuri banana that can handle it, and we have Banane that does very well. The Musa Cavendish can also handle it. Of course, the bananas are not as good as some of the other varieties we have, but those are some of our favorite bananas because they can handle the freeze. When you grow edible food in Zone 9B, it is all about microclimates, and it's about getting the right plants. It is about protecting young plants until they can survive in case you do get a freeze. This little area is a microclimate for the winter in the food forest. It is surrounded by big trees, palmettos, and we will make it so that we can throw a sheet just in case we do get a bad frost. We have several grafted cold hardy avocados that do well in our growing zone. Here we have Mexicola, Winter Mexican, Reed, Bacon, and Fuerte. We also have a bunch of Hass avocado seedlings, and those will be moving today. Because we're on a teacher's budget, we grow a lot of plants from seed, from tiny cuttings, or if we do buy them, we will get them very young, very small, which means we have to protect them over the winter. This ice cream bean is one example. This is our tamarind tree. We grew this from seeds about 3 to 4 years ago, and this is the first year it's been out in the food forest. Until now, it has been very close to our house in a little microclimate. So we are going to move it to a more protected area of the food forest today. Black sapote, isn't it a beauty? Look at this. It was just a tiny little cutting when we got it. It is still in a pot. We still haven't found a permanent spot for it. But because it's in a pot, we can now move it into a little protected area. The blackberry jam fruit, I'm not sure how we'll do in cold. It has been close to the house. Look at how beautiful it is. Oh my gosh, it's just amazing. It has been growing next to our house until this summer when we ran out of room. Therefore, it's in the fruit forest. But it is in the pot, so we can easily move it. These bananas will do well. I think this is a Grand Nain. I'm not 100% sure, which is why it's in the mystery banana patch. But these will do well all the winter. They might lose the leaves. We just leave the leaves on the banana. Do not cut the leaves off. Leave the leaves on the banana when they turn brown, and they'll help protect the stem of the banana. This is the chai tree that fell down during one of the hurricanes. So I already pruned this one. I'm just gonna leave that alone. Now this one, I'm gonna cut down a lot. And I'm actually gonna use these chai branches in my protected area. I'm gonna put them in each corner and on the outskirts of the protected area so that I can throw a sheet over it. The cold is always worst at the top. So I'm gonna take the ones that are at the very top of this chaya. And then the trunk is so big that it will probably do fine. It usually does. It just get damaged. But it comes back. You can see we pruned it a lot. We planted chaya everywhere. Some will die, some will not. The more plants you grow, the more you can lose. Now let's find one to cut. Here's a long one right here. Just gonna go and make a snip right around here. That one. And then I'm looking at this big one at the very top, because it's probably gonna die back anyway. Just gonna cut it about here. This one, I'm gonna cut all these down. Make it cut right there. Make it cut right here. Oh, see, this one's gonna come out that, so let's make it here. There. I just need to have enough that I can surround the protected area with it. And we are loaded. Lots of chaya. Put some mulch for the bananas. The sweet potatoes, by the way, will die back in the frost. Some will die completely. But we have sweet potatoes everywhere. So it'll come back. Now to propagate the chaya to make more, all you do is stick it in the ground. Tricky part is finding a spot where it will sink in properly. You could use any kind of stick to create this protected area for your plants. I found these metal garden sticks someone was throwing out a few years ago. That'll work perfect up here in the corner where the sheet needs to be the highest. I'm also going to put one over by the tamarind. You can also use bamboo if you have it. A little protected area of avocados. Got the blackberry jam tree, some cranberry hibiscuses, black sapote, tamarind, one guava, and I think that might be it. Most of our other small plants from cuttings and seedlings are around the house, and some of those I will just move closer to the house. We do have one protected area in between the house and the fence where we have created a barrier on top. We've had plastic over there in the past, but we do not recommend that, because if one of the fruit trees touches the top of the plastic on a sunny day, it will burn the tree. Also, when you use plastic, make sure you use greenhouse plastic, or remove your plastic after a year, one season, because that plastic will start crumbling, and that is not fun to clean up. This is the one side of our protected area. You can see it is surrounded by plants that have been growing in these parts for years. Then we have the pine trees, palmettos, the olives on the other side, and now the chaya that will come come up, and that's actually why we do this in November, and we do not wait until the chance of frost, because we don't usually get a frost in November. There was that one year where we got the frost 3 times, nightly frosts, right before Christmas. Oh my gosh, that was a surprise. But normally we do not get frost until January, February. So the reason why I'm taking the cuttings today is because that way all the plants, all the cuttings will have time to heal, set roots, and recover, so that if you get a frost, they might be able to handle it. Now I'm just going to come in here and throw over a sheet if we get close to 35 degrees. That way I know if we do go below freezing temperatures, this little section of the food forest will be okay. The same thing around the house. If we get close to 33 degrees, I will go out and cover up a few plants. But November is the time that I will go around and move cold sensitive plants, young fruit trees that are cold sensitive. I will move them in close to the house, and the house will help protect these plants because the house will give off heat. This Rajapuri banana is cold sensitive. Not so cold sensitive that it will die. It has come back every winter. The mother plant came back, but we know that it doesn't like the cold. It will lose its leaves, and it'll look very sad if you do get any amount of frosts. So today I'm just gonna put some mulch around it, protect it from any cold temperatures, just so that the root ball of the banana will survive even if the leaves die back. Sometimes we've even cut the trunks low and they will still come back. So protect your plants when they need it, and be thankful when they don't. I'm going to prune now this cranberry hibiscus. I'm just going to strip the leaves and stick it in the ground. No growing, no rooting hormone needed. We pruned this salad tree right before the hurricane, but I'm now going to prune it even lower for the winter. I'm going to go all the way down here and prune it right about here. Sharpness. Yeah, now I'm just going to stick it in the ground right next to it. There we go. Pick some of these leaves up. They're edible, and chickens love them. We love them. Just gonna pick some of them, and let me show you why I cut them this low. See, we have one over here too. If the temperatures get close to 35 degrees, not 32, if they get close to 35, a little bit above freezing, I can put a bucket over them, just like this. Pepper plants are short-lived perennials in our growing zone. We do try to protect them a little bit if we can. Look at this tomato. It's giving some protection in case we get hit by a freeze. We also have this wood chip pile that we left a little bit high right in front of it. Strong pepper plants will usually survive several years. Cuban oregano does not like freezing temperatures, so we've moved some of our Cuban oregano into this big ginger pot where we've kind of left some room up the sides, which will help protect them for the cold winds, because if a plant is exposed to cold wind and freezing temperatures, it'll make it even worse. If you do have a freeze coming to your area, make sure to water your plants well. We prefer to water our plants the morning prior to a potential freeze, as this will help keep the plants healthy and they can withstand a freeze better. This will also ensure that there's no water left on the leaves of the plants when frost might hit. If you've enjoyed this video, please support the Dancing Treetops Family Farm by hitting that like button, hitting subscribe. You could even turn on those notifications. And we want to thank all of you for watching, for supporting us, And thank you for making the world a little greener.